Hello everyone, welcome back to Plumfiggy. This is Tammy. Okay, so our Christmas journals have been transformed. Well, at least the outsides have been. So I've been busy this week, and I wanted to also say I'm sorry I've been a little bit gone this week. It's just been kind of one of those weeks where life happened again and I got busy and I couldn't get up here and do some filming like I wanted to, but I'm sure you all understand. It is what it is sometimes. So, okay, let me kind of walk you through what I've done. We've got, I finished doing all the embellishing on this journal that I'm going to do. So this one is ready for a cover, and that's what we're going to work on today together. But as you can see, I'm going to put this off to the side. As you can see, I've been busy working on covers for the other journals. So this is the first one that I did. And so this is for one of the journals that's going to be a naked journal. And so really fun outside. So the outside is a burlap. It's from a burlap, I think a coffee sack, if I remember right. But this one has a little bit more structure than the other two do. So it actually has a piece of, it's a paper bag from a grocery store in between the two pieces of batting, that's the word I was looking for, batting. And then I always tell you all my secrets, don't I? I probably shouldn't. I didn't measure quite right, and I didn't close up the front and back pieces of fabric the way that I should have. And so in the end, I had to kind of improvise by doing this seam binding, no, it's not seam binding, it's a sari silk around the outside edge, but I actually really like it. But anyway, so they all will have a pocket on the front and back cover, and then I did a lace pocket I did lace pockets for all of them. So that is this one, and then the next one I did was this one, which is the other naked journal. So this one, no, it's not. This one I did I did decorate this one, or at least I started. Did I finish this one? What am I doing here? I think this one was supposed to be naked, except for, I remember now. I had to switch this piece of paper with this other one that I did design or decorate. So this one has a little bit of fun in there. But the cover for this one is extremely soft and bendy. This one and the next one. So, but the same idea. Used a different kind of, this is actually a tea towel. Was never used for the inside of both this one and the next one that we'll show you in just a second. But yeah, so tea towel in really pretty ivory, green, olivey green, and navy blue, or country blue maybe is what I should say. And then this one, it's a little bit loose, the outside cover, but I kind of really like that. And then this one has kind of a thicker bottom to it, because that's the edge of the sack, and so I kind of worked with that to incorporate that into the cover itself. And then as you can see, this one has some patches on it, so that's going to be the cover for this journal. And a little not quite as tall as the other one ended up being. But there's that journal. And then this other one that we did decorate is going to have this cover. So this will be, if you remember, this is this journal. And so this is the one that I did decorate. And then I did add some more sari silks on the edges and stuff. So just kind of finish that out. But this one again is a really soft and bendy cover. which will be great once I get the signatures sewn in. It'll be nice and huggable, kind of. But I love this cover. It, again, is kind of poofy in places. I don't know. I kind of like that. It's not perfect, and again, when you have it shut, it's not really going to be noticeable that it's that way. And over time, it'll hopefully relax a little bit. But here you can see there's some patches and stuff too on this one. And then I just really like the stamping across the front of the cover. So that's the kind of cover that we're going to do for this other journal. And so let us work on that together today. So I'm going to take you through it step by step. First thing I need is my batting, and this is what I use, the Warm and Natural. It's cotton, 100% cotton. I don't know if there's supposed to be a size or thickness. I guess not twin size, if that makes it anything, if that means anything to anyone. I kind of just went and looked for the one that I thought would work the best. So my technical, batting searching, that's what I looked for. So, all right. So as you can see, I've kind of been cutting. Well, maybe you can't. So basically, all I'm going to do is cut a piece, 2 pieces. So cutting them together. Oh, perfect. This is the perfect size. Okay. So you can't see this, but it's basically kind of almost perfectly sized. So I'm going to cut a piece of this off, and that way I'll spare you from having to watch me try and do this gracefully. And I'll be right back. Okay, so to determine how wide it should be, pretty much what I'm doing here, let me raise my camera up a little bit, maybe you can see better now. What I did was I just laid the block of signatures down, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the journal like this. And actually, I don't want quite that much, because somehow, no matter what I do, and maybe it's just me, but somehow no matter what I do, it always grows in both height and width. So I try to match it up pretty much exact, except for maybe add about 1/4 of an inch on either side. So as you can see, I'm kind of cutting that far away, and so then I'll just cut straight up, and that will be our full width that we'll work with. Okay, and then I'll save this obviously for other journals. Okay, and then I think these two are already disconnected. Yes, they are. So as you can see, I just cut 2 pieces together. So we have our width. Now, I think these are a little bit tall, so I want to trim, I want to trim off some height. So again, I'm just going to kind of guesstimate about 1/4 of an inch of height. And sorry, I'm out of camera at the moment, but I'm just going to cut this top part off. And I'm actually going to save this little bit of piece of batting as well, because I have ideas for these little bits and pieces of batting. We'll see what comes of them. So this isn't exactly perfectly straight, and that's okay. It all just kind of works out in somehow. I don't know how, but it always just kind of works out. So let's see. Let's double check. Okay. So that's about perfect. That's pretty good. All right, so now what I need to do is I'm trying to decide how loose or floppy I want this to be. If I want it to be as floppy as the other two, or if I want to give it just a little bit more structure. The piece of fabric that I used behind the burlap for the other two was just this thin muslin. I only did one piece, so one thickness of it. But I'm thinking, let's see. Excuse me for a minute. Excuse my reach. I've got some upholstery fabric here, which obviously is going to be thicker. The thing is, I think I prefer the look of this lighter one and how it frays on the end compared to this one. So what I think I'll do is I might just cut a piece of this anyway, and I'll sandwich it in there, but still show this lighter piece of fabric instead. So, all right, so at this point, oh, and then this is what I was thinking of using for the inside fabric, but now I'm thinking I might prefer that other first ticking material better. So I'm going to go get some of that and we'll use that instead. I'll keep this for something else. I just love how it's so wrinkly and so natural looking. Or it's natural cotton as well. So, okay, at this point now we don't need these for the moment. So I'm going to set these off to the side. And I'm going to use the batting now as my measuring tool, I suppose, if you want to call it that. And actually, oh bummer, this is just a little bit too short. This was just a piece that I had cut off earlier today. So I'm going to, I think, well, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start with the black upholstery fabric first. And because I want this one to be just slightly smaller than my batting material. So that way it can be sandwiched in there, but kind of be hidden. So I'm going to pull this over just a bit, and I know, I'm sorry you can't really see all of what I'm doing here, but I'm just cutting two pieces of this anyway, and I will use the other piece in some other project. Okay, so we have our width. Now I'm going to do kind of basically the same thing for our height. And I'm leaving about probably half an inch of space, or roughly between or around each side. So I don't know why I'm cutting both of these the same size, but I guess I've already started doing it. We'll just go with it. So now I have this random other weird piece that I'll use somehow. Actually, maybe let me just cut this and I'll use this, and maybe I'll do another small notebook or a small journal with this as a cover. Okay, so, and then we've got this, which I'll put into my scraps. And here is this now. Okay, yep, I need to, it's folded over, so I only want one piece of this, so I'm going to cut now on the fold straight down the middle. I don't think I can rip this one. I don't think I've tried it. I don't need to be super pretty about it. So okay, because essentially this is just going to be used for structure. So let's just do a quick little test. Yes, that'll be good. It's just perfectly slightly smaller. And that'll work well. Okay, so done with this fabric now. So put that off to the side. And let's do the same exact thing, but with this piece of fabric. So again, this one though, I want to be slightly larger because we need it to wrap around or be able to sandwich in our batting. So let's see, let me start from down here. Try and get it as straight as I can. I know you can't really see what I'm doing. I apologize. But this won't take too long here. Okay. I'll just rip. Okay, and then again, save my extra for another project. I swear, buying this muslin fabric, I mean, if you were only buying any kind of fabric, I would suggest plain muslin, cotton muslin. You can dye it, you can paint it, you can make it whatever color you want it to be, or leave it natural and it just always looks great. It just really, I use it a lot in so many different kinds of ways. So, okay, so I only need one piece of this. I don't know that I want to cut it for two, so I'm going to just open this up and work with just one piece. Okay, so I'm laying my batting over top, and I'm just gonna, like I said, cut it just a little bit wider than it needs to be. Okay. Get rid of all the extra little pieces of string. And again, I'll just fold this up and we'll keep this for another project, for another day. Okay, so we're getting there. We're making progress. All right, so there is, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's the finished edge down there, which I don't want to keep, so I'm going to rip that off as well. And hope that it rips straight. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, now I think we're nearly, well, not nearly, we're getting closer anyway. So I've got my piece of muslin. It is too wide, and actually I need the muslin to be on this side because it will be covering this black piece, like so. And I'm going to trim off just a teeny bit on the right side. Okay. So there's that. This is going to be our layer for underneath our burlap. For this fabric, I'm going to make it the exact same size as the muslin that we just did. I got a whole bunch of it here, so this is going to be a bit of a pain for me to work with for a minute, so I'll do that off camera, and I'll come back with it already sized down. So I'm going to do it the exact same way that we just did for this muslin fabric. And I'll be right. Okay, so I know it's really hard for you to see what's going on because this is so large, but I've got my ticking fabric sized down, and I'm okay with some of the stripes kind of peeking out through the tops and bottoms. I think it makes it more interesting that way when that happens. So, okay, now at this point, we have our 2 pieces of batting. We're going to have our ticking on one side, which will be the inside of our cover. So I'm going to try and line this up as well as I can. Thankfully, batting is sticky to fabric in a way. So once you kind of get it lined up, you can pretty well make, know that it's not going to move around too much. I can see my fabric is just a little bit less wide than my batting. So I'm going to trim off about 1/4 of an inch on the right side. So like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Don't spin your wheels trying to do like all kinds of measurements and stuff, because in my experience anyway, it seems like you do that and sometimes you don't ever really need them. And I'm kind of looking here and I can see that this is kind of a little bit funky, so I'm gonna trim just a bit of this batting also. Pretty much what I don't want is any of the batting to show through, so we want to make sure it's really sandwiched in between. The other thing is, since this is an up and down fabric, it has a direction, I want to make sure it's not crooked either. Okay, so I think I'm pretty well okay with it. Nope, I want to take a little bit off of this little corner here, so it looks like it's kind of slanting, or I didn't cut it too straight in here, so I'm just gonna fix that. Yep, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now we've got our inside piece, we've got our 2 pieces of batting, we've got our kind of structure, like to add some stability, and then we've got our muslin fabric that's going to go on top of all of that. Now what we need is our burlap and our pockets. What am I saying? Our pockets for the inside of the front cover. So I kind of like to do those first. I have, let's see, is this just one piece of fabric? I think so. I have this nice piece of fabric here that I think I'll use for the front cover, or the front pocket. I'm kind of at the point now where I might just kind of make up the pockets and do them a little differently than I had. Maybe we'll do a belly band kind of pocket. How about that? That might be kind of cool, actually. Kind of evenly space it like that, and then we could, yep, this is a perfect height for this lace. So I'm just laying this out, and I'm gonna cut this to be the same size, oops, hopefully straighter, as my piece of fabric, and then I'm going to sew this onto this piece of muslin to make it become one piece. So keep it together. Let's just put in a needle to make sure it stays together. Okay, and then over here for our belly band, let's see, this might be, Oh, I like it just a little bit wider though. So, okay. So I'm going to cut this to be the height of our belly band, maybe just a little bit wider. And we'll do the same exact thing. Pin it in place. Maybe with 3 of them, just make sure it doesn't come apart on me. Okay, so those are now ready for sewing. And so what I'll do is I'll just sew around all 4 sides. And I don't mind that it'll be a little bit maybe poofy in the middle. So there's our 2 pockets, and same for this. I'll sew around all 4 sides, do kind of a little follow the lace pattern there. Okay, and I'll do that in white thread. Sorry, I'm waiting for my glasses to arrive. I've been waiting forever for these glasses and they can't get here fast enough. Okay, so I'm gonna put this off to the side. I'm just gonna carefully fold that up and put that off to the side. I'm gonna sew these and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got 2 pockets ready to go. Nothing fancy, I just did a straight stitch around all 4 sides. So now at this point I'm going to come back to my big old sandwich of things here, and I'm gonna take the, let's see, well, I don't know that it really matters too much, but since they're kind of stuck together, I'm going to take both the inside fabric and the inside batting together and attach my pockets now. So, okay. I'll have my belly band. I want to make sure there's kind of enough room on both sides. Which there will be, because this will be, yeah, that's about right. That's about perfect. So just go ahead and pin that. Oh, and also make sure it's straight. So I'm just going to pin that down. And I'm going to do a zigzag stitch along these 3 edges. Ouch! That's sharp. And then kind of the same thing over here. Make sure I get it right side up. About there. Looks right to me. So again, just go ahead and pin this down. Okay, and again, I'll do a zigzag stitch around these 3 edges, so I'll go do that and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got the 2 pockets, or belly band and pocket, sewed down. And yes, I realized as I started sewing, I said I would sew all 3 sides. This is just a belly band, so not a pocket. Okay, so now at this point, I needed to cut our burlap for our front piece. So this piece is done. I've gone ahead and cut the burlap already. So this is going to be our piece of burlap for the front of this journal. So let me go ahead and get this all taken apart again. So I've got my sandwich of batting, and then the black upholstery fabric, and then my muslin fabric. Something is bumpy right there. Let me get rid of that. And so then now all I need to do is lay this down on top. And I don't mind if it's not a perfect fit, because I kind of like that it looks a little bit rustic and unique that way. So I do kind of want to get it lined up on the bottom. This is just a bit taller. Sorry, you can't see. A little bit taller than I think I want it to be. So I'm going to shave off some height from here, from the burlap. So I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. Okay. I am throwing that away. I don't want to keep that. I've got lots more where that came from. So, okay, now let's go ahead and get this laid down the way I think I want it to be, which I think is the way that it is now. So I'm going to just pin kind of not around the edges all the time, but sort of in the middles and on the corners, so that I make sure and capture that inner layer. I'm going to pin this down because this is kind of flying up there. So I'm just going to pin around this, and then I'm going to change my thread out on my sewing machine. I've been using white. I'm going to change it to black because the print on the burlap is black. I think it would just make it look a little bit nicer, or just a little bit more cohesive. So I'm going to pin this down, and then all I'm going to do at this point is do a zigzag stitch, not at the very edge of the border, but a little bit in, probably like an 1.5 inches or so in, because I want to make sure I catch, maybe more like 1 inch. I want to make sure I catch that black piece of upholstery fabric in where I'm sewing. So hopefully that won't, you know, well, we don't want it to get bunched up or do funny things like travel around and shift, which can very well happen. So I will go ahead and do, I know there's a lot of starting and stopping in this video. I apologize. But that's kind of the way this kind of thing goes. But so I'm going to go ahead and sew around that, and I'll come right back with you when I'm done. All right, so at this point now, we've got a little bit of bubbling happening. I think at this point is when you would probably want to decide if you want to do patches or not. Excuse me, patches or not. Totally hiccup there. So I think I do want to do some patches. So I'm going to go and find some bits and pieces. I might do, well, on the other ones I used some of this lace that I have. So actually I have another piece of that. Let's see, what do I got over here? I think I've got some bigger pieces of this ticking. Don't know that I want to cut those up though. I think I'm going to leave those from being cut up. And then I've got some of this muslin fabric. So let's go ahead and use what we've got here and make it work. So this is my biggest piece. So I think I'll put in the most uninteresting. So I'm just going to choose a spot on the book where I think it would look interesting. This will kind of span the spine here. So I'm just going to pin this down. And sew in a straight stitch around the border of it. Okay, so we've got ourselves a patch. Kind of boring. But let's add to that and do something a little more interesting to it. Maybe we could do a vertical patch like this. Let's see. The ticking goes that direction, so maybe not. How about we just do this? Okay, so I'm just going to start it kind of in the middle of this patch. Pin it down again, make sure it doesn't go anywhere, and then extend it this way. Okay, so again, I'll just do a straight stitch around the whole perimeter, and then we'll do our third patch. Okay, patch number 2 is set. Now, where did my... Oh, it went on the floor. I know I had it here somewhere. Okay, so how shall we do this? Maybe like that. We could also maybe incorporate some of this, but not too much, just like a sliver of it, just to give a little bit of a sneak peek maybe. And we could put that maybe over here. Let's see which direction is, I think that's the front. Okay, so I think I'll put that like that and pin that down. It's helpful to have a little bit longer needle if you can find them. I don't know where I found these black ones, but I love them. It's like, I need to find more like those. Okay, yeah, I think I like this orientation, so try and get this pinned down, and then I will do a zigzag stitch around both of these just to make sure that they're extra secure. You don't really need to, but plus I like showing different stitches. It just kind of makes it look even that much more vintage and aged. So all right, so we've almost got a cover. So at this point now, all you got to do, unless you wanted to do something like a nameplate or something on the front cover that you didn't want to show on the inside of the front cover, I guess, yeah, you would want to sew that down now at this point. I have another idea for what I want to do with that. So at this point, I'm ready to sew these two together now. So I'm just going to flip that over and then line this up as good as I possibly can with, now remember, these aren't really sewn together. I mean, I guess they are here and on the pockets, but not on the edges. So I want to make sure and get this as good as I can, and I think I've actually done a pretty good job of that. So you can decide which direction you want to sew in. I'm thinking about that right now. This has a potential to get snagged up on your sewing machine potentially, but I feel like I think I want to do my like sewn in, sandwiching everything together from this side up. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this direction, and then I'm actually going to flip it over and sew it again, potentially. We'll see when I get done sewing this, if I feel like I want to flip it over and sew it again from the right side out too. So yep, just gonna pin this together, and then I'm just gonna do a straight stitch around the whole outside perimeter, just making sure I close in all the gaps. You know, I don't want any of that batting to show through. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're looking good on the inside. Now I want to make sure we're also still looking good on the outside. So I think what I want to do is one more stitch another straight stitch, but closer to our zigzag stitch here. So I need to trim some of these threads. Just to kind of make sure and catch anything else that maybe didn't get caught the first time, because obviously, as you can see, this burlap is going to fray, and so I just want to make sure it doesn't get past this zigzag line. So I'm going to do another straight stitch all the way around the perimeter, and just, yeah, finish it off that way, and then it should hopefully be ready to go. Yes, I love the placement of this. It's perfect. It's kind of like right on the spine. The spine will be thicker than that, so you won't really see it from the front, and then it'll be a nice little surprise on the back, because there's a little bit more text on the front. And like I said, I'm going to do something for a label on all of these, so I just haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but that will be done. So okay, I'm going to do that one last stitch, and then we'll have a ready cover, pretty much almost done. Well, I'd say it looks pretty good. So honestly, you're probably not really even going to notice that third stitch too much. I think it'll just kind of blend in, but it adds to the rustic look of everything. So let's go ahead and see how we've got this lined up. Hopefully it'll be the perfect size, and look at that, it is. Okay, so that is very, very cool. I love how these came out. Okay, so at this point, I'm trying to decide how I want to do a closure. So I love this kind of tea-dyed color. Sari silk for this, maybe. Oh, yeah. Or what color? What color should we do? Because I've used it on here. Yeah, I think I want to go with this. So I don't know that I want tons and tons. Let's see if we, and I don't think I want it to wrap around. I think I just want it to be kind of a stationary wrap. So I'll just cut it about there, and we'll do 2 pieces that same size. And then take these out. Go ahead and find the middle-ish. I don't know why, but it's usually easier for me to look at it this direction. And then I'm just going to sew these directly on just with a zigzag stitch. So nothing fancy. For I do think I want my needle. I was holding on to nothing just now. Okay, put that there, and then I'll flip her over, and let's find the middle on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to take another zigzag stitch and stitch those 2 on. Okay, so now we have ourselves a little tie for our closure. This will be really cute. So now I'm trying to decide how I want to do the nameplate. But first, what I need to do, so I have some of this. I think I like the idea of using some of this. This is a bit large, but I think it'll look good as the background. Okay, and then, let's see. Let me find. I want some. Oh, that's not really. Is that a color that we want? Well, I don't know. I don't like that piece. Okay, let's keep looking. How about I bring this up here so you all can see what I'm doing? This is just my scrap fabric pile. Many of you will recognize this. Ooh. No. Maybe. I'll remember it. I'll remember that it's there. Okay. Corduroy. No, I don't think I like that either because, well, unless I did it this direction. I think I want it to fray on the edges. So let's keep looking. Oh, this might be perfect. Okay, let's pull that one out. There's a specific fabric that I'm thinking of, and I know I have some in here. It's just a matter of getting to it. Yes, this is embroidery. It will become a journaling cover at some point. You can see the back of it here. Some embroidery that I did a while back. Okay, here we go. This is more knobbly and textured like I was thinking. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to keep these out and use them for the others as well. Nameplate. What else could we put behind it? Oh, well, you know what we should do? You know what I should do? Is put paper on top. I've got plenty of that. Let me pull out some scratch paper here. Need to reorganize my stash. Maybe some of this really old book page. I think that's a little bit too brittle. I don't think it'll stand the test of time. Here we go. Yes. Okay. I know I don't even have a I don't even have a nameplate yet, but I'm going to glue this one down because it is perfect. I'm just using some Fabri-Tac here. Okay. And then I'm going to add a bit of glue to the back of this just to make sure and tack this down to the fabric behind it. Like so. And then I have this nameplate sitting here. I like it. I would have to glue it down, which I don't like, but I think it would be fine. Maybe if I touch it 5 more times. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew a zigzag stitch. Well, first I'm going to sew a straight stitch around this, and then I'm going to do a zigzag stitch around this to make it look like I've sewn this whole thing down, I think. Or, how should I do that? Maybe I'll straight stitch around here, and then I'll do a zigzag stitch to combine these two on the very edge. That's what I'll do, and then I'll be right back. All right. We now have ourselves a nameplate-ish, sort of. I pulled out some things the other day, and they have conveniently disappeared. So I will, oh, here's one. Where's the other one? Aha. Okay. So we've got two clothespins, essentially, safety pins. These are Tim Holtz. And what I was thinking was, I'd like to, I think, fasten our nameplate. Let's see, needs to be more center. This way it's removable. If you really hate it, you could take it off. Okay, this is more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And I don't have tons of room to work with here. Oh, I'm just going to poke my finger. I just know it. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's that. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. Same direction. Okay. Now, yes, that's cool. I like that. It's kind of homey looking. Now at this point, I'm just going to glue this down. If you didn't have this kind, but you had the kind that actually had a hole with a little brad, you would obviously put that on before attaching. Well, I'd probably put it on before I sewed this piece of fabric to the back piece of fabric, just to hide the brad a little bit better, but this will work great. I've done this many times. This Fabri-Tac is just amazing at sticking and staying in place. So, okay. Push that down and hold it in place for a minute. I think that there's a hole in my glue bottle. There is a hole because it keeps. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to put some duct tape on that or something. Okay. Well, I think. Sorry, squirrel. I was just like, why is there glue on my pinky finger? So there we have it, guys. We've got a pretty darn cool journal happening here, and so I'm gonna go ahead and just sew in the signatures and do all the pictures and video of flip throughs and things, and these will be on in my Etsy shop this weekend. So it's a little dark now to do all the pictures and stuff, but I'll probably do that in the morning and get them listed tomorrow morning on Saturday morning. And I am Central Standard Time, if that helps. I'm not going to commit to a specific time, but because, you know, sometimes things always take longer, sometimes always take longer to come to life than you think that they will. So yeah, so anyway, these will be the last junk journals for sale, new junk journals, new Christmas junk journals for sale in my Etsy shop this year. So I guess if you were wanting a Christmas journal from me, you would want to get one of these. If there's not another version in my shop, there are some others still available. I still have that wide one with all the glittery snowy paper in it with the tab bound binding. And then I have another one from last year that's another taller one. It's a tall and skinny one with a gray cover, and it's got like I think it's I don't think it's the Santa Claus cover. I think I sold that one. It's the other version. But really cute papers in that. If I remember right from My Porch Prints, digital kits from her shop. So, alright guys, well, I've got a little bit more work to do tonight, so I can get these done. I'm really pleased with how they turned out. Yeah, this is really going to be a cute, fun journal, and I'm glad I went with a soft cover for these. So, anyway, alright guys, that's enough of me rambling. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.